Today we're talking about VA compensation for sinusitis secondary to sleep apnea. So you're already service connected for sleep apnea, and your sleep apnea caused your sinusitis, and you're filing a secondary claim. So in order for this to work, you need to be rated for sleep apnea. So it's diagnostic code 6347. That'll be on your rating code sheet. And then you could have 0, 30, 50, or 100%. In order to file a secondary claim, you're going to need to have a current diagnosis of sinusitis, right? Symptoms of sinusitis, that's where your rating comes from. And then you're going to need the medical nexus from your doctor. In your nexus, you're going to have your doctor explain how your sinusitis was caused by your sleep apnea on a at least as likely as not basis. In order to make the secondary work, you need to make sure that you're talking about how it's your sleep apnea that caused it. Your doctor writes the nexus and says it caused it, and that's your story. So it doesn't matter if it may have been caused here or there. It's sinusitis secondary to sleep apnea. So you want to stick with that and don't talk outside that box. VA rates chronic sinusitis under diagnostic code 6510 through 6514. So you could have 4 different ratings for sinusitis. You have 50% rating, 30% rating, 10% rating, and 0% rating. The lower your symptoms, the lower your rating. So sinusitis, you either have these symptoms or you don't have these symptoms. That's where you get the rating. So you have your sleep apnea rating, hopefully that's a 50%, and you're trying to hook on another 30 or 50% for sinusitis. You need to have the symptoms or you're going to just end up with a low rating like 0 or 10%. What's your compensation and pension exam for sinusitis going to be? And I'd like to say that, these can interchange. You could have sinusitis secondary to sleep apnea and sleep apnea secondary to sinusitis. C&P exams are very similar because they can only test so much. It's not an orthopedic exam where they could put a goniometer and test your range of motion. It's sinusitis. So they're going to review your medical records for the most part. That's what the C&P examiner is going to do, but he'll ask you questions like, when did your sinusitis start? This is where you want to start talking about after I got sleep apnea, right? You don't want to start talking about, it was in the Iraqi burn pits. That's a presumptive claim for sinusitis. Completely different story. We're doing sinusitis secondary to sleep apnea. Let me jump in here real quick and tell you about my boot camp. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my boot camp. You can talk to me live. There's a link on the website and in the description, combatcraig.com. And also, if you need medical evidence like a nexus or documenting your symptoms properly, go to our website, combatcraig.com, and it says medteam/nexus letters. Click on that link, fill out the form, boom, you're done.